Hello, lovely people. I'm Sinead, and welcome. I am going to be kind of walking you through, not walking you through, just sharing what I managed to do. And I couldn't film it while I was doing it. You would not believe how much grunting went on trying to do this one-handed and not irritate my shoulder. So it's mostly this side that is irritated, and that means I've got my right hand as long as I can do the project one-handed. But I managed to get earrings on here, and I'm gonna turn the camera around and show you a little bit more about what all was involved in doing that. And maybe I should like have shared that without my fingers over her eyeshadow and lipstick, because yeah, that turned out pretty good. I did remove her blush. It just wasn't blending, and I could have gone back with pastels, but after I removed it and thought about doing the pastels, I was just like, I like the way she looks. I don't want to add anything. I think the lipstick and the eyeshadow, once I get the eyes in, will be exactly what I wanted. And her eyes are going to be a solid blackish brown. There will not be, well, at this point, I'm not planning on doing any distinct pupils, but if the eyes turn out light enough, I will. I'll go back and I'll add pupils or whatever. But the eyes haven't been started, and I will share what they look like right now. Because what I did was I pressed paper clay up in her head, behind her eye, and then let that dry, and then I kind of carved away on it so that there was less bulk, so it would be easier to glue in place. Because if you have this great big glob of paper clay, it's harder to get the I'm having a hard time here, the two-part epoxy to hold that eye in place. And since she's going to be put together in such a way you won't be able to access the inside of her head once she's done, I do want her eyes to be epoxied in place, not changeable. And so I've got the paper clay is ready for paint, and hopefully I will get that done and give you an update on Friday with that. But right now, let's turn the camera around and I'll show you a little bit about what I did with the earrings and what her eyes look like right now. So mostly what I've used here are jump rings, and I've got two different sizes. I used the larger ones on the further out holes and the smaller ones because the ear is angle, the smaller ones hang better. So it's these are, oh, I don't even know. Let me see if I can check here. They're 3/8. So these are 3/8 jump rings, and these look like they're about a quarter. Yep, about a quarter. So they have that single little split in them, and you can open it up with a pair of pliers, or these are soft enough you can open it up if you've got the use of both your hands with just, pulling in opposite directions with your fingers to open that up. Then I stuck it through and hung leaves and various types on here. So, and she's also got a little bitty butterfly too. For this one, it's different than the other ones because the bead I had actually has a hole in it that goes through, like so. And the thing is bent, so it's not going through one-handed. It would go through. There we go. And then you use your pliers to create another ring or loop at the top of the leaf and put that on the jump ring, and then hang a charm from the bottom. So you can do this with like any kind of bead that has a through in the direction so that it's oriented the way you want it. Most of these beads, however, have the holes going through crossways. So I took pins that have the end on them, and these are actually jewelry making, not sewing pins. And wow, one-handed. Okay, maybe if I just don't lift this hand. And so that's the orientation on these leaves. And then, as you can see, I just created a way for it to hang by taking the pin through and making a loop to go on the jump ring. The earrings on the other side are basically the same process. The dragonfly went directly onto the jump ring to make a short earring. And this one's still kind of short, but it does have the pin through. We've got another through one where I used the eye pin, and made a loop at the top and another leaf at the bottom. Yeah, that's just exactly like this one. And curled that around to make a decorative way of hanging it using the pin. And I'm not quite sure what they call these. I know these are called eye pins, but I don't know what they call the pins with the stop on the end. Anyway, just a combination of different beads, and you can do this with anything really, bead-wise, any style, to create this type of earring, because I know for dolls, jump ring earrings for your dolls, it even works if all you have is the one hole, because you can open this up and stick the one side of it into the doll's head. And if you open it up wide enough, sorry, that's not real clear. If you open this opening wide enough, you can actually tuck it behind the ear where you don't actually have a hole going through. I used that method on a doll that didn't have holes in their ears to make it look like they had an earring. And I used a little poster putty behind the ear to keep it in place. But you could use it and hang it from the hole in the ear if the doll has the hole that just goes into their head, and create different earrings that way for like your fashion dolls if you wanted to. Or you can use these pins like this, and this can be shortened to be the post that goes into their head, and hang things off of it with the eye pins, jump rings, and various different beads as well. Not just on a specially made doll like this one, where I created the holes to go all the way through. But occasionally you do run across a doll that does have them all the way through. So that would be a way of putting earrings on them. Let's get the eyes and look at those. While I was away from the camera, I made use of the door knocker outside my bedroom to make my muscle in my back relax again, because it was seizing up just during that short little period of standing here talking, because I wasn't standing up straight. So we're going to try and stand up straight and continue. Boy, the limitations here are hard to deal with. So here's her eye. I took a much bigger piece of paper clay, and I stuck it as big as a, there's the opening. So it had to be small enough to fit through the opening, but I think it barely fit. And then I stuck it up in here and pressed it into the eye socket to get this shape. Then as it started drying, I cut away. I mean, it had to be firm or it'd mess up the shape. So it wasn't completely dry, but the front was, the surface of, don't lift that arm. This surface here was dry. So I cut away the back, which was damp, and I cut away the bits on the sides, just leaving straight cuts because that part won't be seen once the eye is inserted. And just trying to get it down to a smaller eye to go in there and be able to use a two-part epoxy to hold that eye in place. I needed to have, yeah, less I here to, which I already said that earlier. We're repeating ourselves. Great. I apologize. So this is the paint. We have the milk paint in black and brown. This brown is too light. I don't want it that light. So, and I did at first think that I was going to just go with a solid black eye. I think it looks pretty cool. But I'm debating on that one, because I think it'll make her look friendlier, whereas the solid black eye may look just a little too creepy. I don't know, but I'm gonna mix the two together and come up with a dark color that once I put shellac on it may end up looking black again, or it might just look like a dark brown. And if it looks too weird, I don't know, I might add a pupil to change it up. But yeah, the shellac, I got to keep in mind that the shellac is going to add a yellow tint to it. But that's my plan, which I will hopefully get done and be able to share with you on Friday, the finished eyes, and not ramble on what I'm doing with that. Just show you and move on. And hopefully my shoulder will feel better. But right now we're struggling to stand here and do this one-handed. So I am going to share, since it is toad season and the toads are singing, their wonderful little song here, so that you can enjoy the fun toad song of our area. And know that even as loud as this is, they get much louder. We have not hit the peak of how loud they get. And I love it. I love having the toads sing every year and bring in spring and go kind of into, I don't know when they stop, whether it's June or July, but I love it. They're there as long as there's water in our seasonal pond, and it's fun to listen to them. So I hope you enjoy it too. And I hope you have a delightful rest of your day and a wonderful week. And I will see you on Friday.